In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the AC condenser on this Hyundai Sonata. It sits in the front of your radiator right behind the front bumper. Let's get started. Before starting this job, have the refrigerant professionally recovered from the system. You don't want to open any lines in the AC system with refrigerant still pressurized in it. Let's take the intake piece off that sits on the front or at the top of the radiator support so we can get some clearance here. There are 3 push clips that hold it on. They have a Phillips head cutout in the center, so take a screwdriver and unthread them. Sometimes these center pieces need a little bit of help from a trim tool. They get worn out over time. Once you take the center out, you can pop the rest of the push clip right out of here. And then, once you get all 3 out, you can raise this right up, twist it, and pull it off and set it aside. Let's disconnect the 2 AC lines. There are 2 10mm mounting nuts here and here, one on each line. Undo both of them. And with both of these off, we should be able to pull the lines out. Keep in mind, when the machine pulls the refrigerant out, it also pulls a vacuum on it at the end. So when you take this line off, the first one, you might hear a hissing noise. That is not pressure. That's actually the vacuum being released. Twist this back and forth and push it up. Okay, there's one. And the other one. This one, of course, won't make any noise because you've already opened up the system. If you're having trouble doing this, you could stick a small flathead screwdriver in there to help pry it out. Just be very careful with these because the lines, even though they're hard lines, they are aluminum and they bend. There we go. Take these off, set them aside. There are 2 10mm headed bolts that go through the bracket into the upper radiator support. Remove them both. With this off, you can turn the bracket, pull it out, and do the same to the other side. Pull the radiator hose up and out of this hook, and then push the radiator back. And you'll notice that at the front of it, there's this line that crosses over. This is just for the coolant overflow. It has a couple plastic brackets that it sits in. So if you just pry up on it, it should pop out of them. Careful not to break anything. Just like that. Then you can lift this and just push it to the side. It's got hoses on both ends, so it'll twist and bend in any direction you need it. Now with the radiator pushed back like this, we have plenty of space to remove the AC condenser. If you go down right below where we disconnected the 2 AC lines, looking towards the front, you'll see a 10mm headed bolt. This actually clamps the radiator with the AC condenser together. We have to disconnect them, of course, so take a socket, probably with an extension so you can reach it, and unbolt that bolt. And do the same to the other side in the same location. With both bolts unbolted and the radiator pushed back, we can see the AC condenser moves now. Lift it straight up. It's got some tabs that it locks in on the bottom. It basically just slides into those. You should be able to push this back enough to have enough clearance to lift the AC condenser up and out. There it is. With the new AC condenser, you'll see 2 foam pieces. They go on each side of the new AC condenser. Peel off the paper from the sticky side and stick them right on the edge. Try to center them up the best you can. Press it down. Make sure that you stick it on the radiator side, not on the back side that faces the outside of the vehicle. And we'll do the same to the other side. where the lines are. All right. Where the lines bolt on, we have to install the studs that are provided with the AC condenser. I put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads that go into this port, and that's so that it doesn't seize in the future. It also makes it easier to drive these in. You want to make sure that when you put these in, one end of the stud is going to have a Phillips head cutout. That end is supposed to face upwards so that when you're done bottoming them out, you can take a screwdriver and just give them a quick snug, just like that. You don't need to tighten them a lot. You don't need to tighten them a whole lot, because when we put the mounting nuts on with the lines and you put pressure on the nut, that's actually going to try to pull the stud out of here, and it's therefore going to tighten up. Once you have these snugged up, you're good to go. On the brackets that have the bolts going through them, we need to install these new J-hooks, or J-nuts is what they're called, and they're just little clips that clip onto here so that we can put the bolt through and have some threads for it to attach to. Don't push it on too far. Make sure that it's centered with the mounting hole so the threads can actually catch on, just like that. Do the same to the other side. As we slide the new AC condenser in, you'll see these hooks. They look just like the ones on the top, but they don't have any holes in them. This is what hooks on to the bottom of the radiator. They just slide in, and there's the same thing on the other side. So you want to make sure that these both get clipped in, otherwise the bottom will not be secured. As you slide this down, be very careful of the fins to not damage them. All right. Once again, this is where I'm going to try to get those two bottom tabs locked in. All right, those are both in. Let's start the bolts in. Now line up the bolt that goes in on the top brackets. Careful not to drop them. It will be quite difficult, especially on this one, just to start it in because of the bracket that holds on the lines, but just do your best. That one's started. I'll bring it in a couple turns. All right, got this one started. Start in the other one, and then snug them both up. All right, that's nice and tight. Do the same on the other side. Let's put this line back down, snap it into both ends. Make sure you don't bend it or break it, just like that. And bring the radiator forward again. Might as well clip this upper radiator hose back into its bracket. Let's bolt the radiator up on the top. Let's resecure the radiator now, install the brackets, make sure that they slide over the pin that's on the radiator, but make sure you don't pinch this hose in between the bracket and the upper radiator support. Start the bolts in. And snug them up. They're very small bolts, so give them about 1/8 of a turn after they bottom out. That's plenty tight. And of course, do the same to the other side radiator bracket. Let's install the two lines. You want to check and replace the O-rings if necessary. It is always recommended to start with new O-rings every time you disconnect these lines. You can also lubricate them with a little bit of PAG oil to help them slide down all the way onto their fittings more easily. Let's hook both of them up. There we go. And then you can put the two mounting nuts back over, start them on by hand. With these started, snug them up. That's bottomed out right there. Just give it a little bit extra, not even 1/8 of a turn. That's plenty tight. All you need to do is have these hold the fittings on nice and tight. The tightness of this bolt isn't going to make the fitting seal any better. It's actually the O-ring that's going to seal everything up. That's it right there. Let's install this intake tubing back in. Make sure it connects on the bottom. Snap that in, and that should allow it to line up with all the push clips, which you can now start in. Make sure they go all the way down, and press the center to lock them in. With the job done, have a professional recharge the system. You want the exact amount of refrigerant in there so that it can work properly. Too much or too little, it will not work efficiently.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.